You probably think you know To Kill a Mockingbird.
Oh, right, everybody does.
Yeah, like maybe you read it in middle school and you just remember it as this straightforward, albeit really tragic lesson about racial injustice.
And moral courage, yeah, in the
Well,
American South.
exactly. But what if that purely social reading, what if it completely misses the deepest, most cosmologically unsettling truths of the book?
That is the big
It
question.
really is. So today's deep dive sets out to explore this stunning news source document we've been looking at. It's called The Sacred Deep: Ontological Truths in Mockingbird.
And it completely reframed Harper Lee's 1960 classic.
It does. We are taking you past the surface story of, a summer in Macomb, Alabama. We're going into what this paper calls the deep register.
Right, the deep register.
Yeah, a world of ancient spiritual thresholds, the death of innocence, and, this is the crazy part, the incomprehensible persistence of goodness.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Wait, I actually wanted to use an analogy first. Okay, let's unpack this. Because reading this book purely as a courtroom drama, it's like looking at the ocean and only describing the boats.
Oh, wow.
Right. Today, we're diving into the water itself.
That is a brilliant way to phrase it. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, the document explains that the novel operates on two simultaneous registers.
The boats and the water.
Exactly, the visible and the invisible. And to understand it, we have to look at the very instrument through which the story is told.
Which is the kids, right?
Yes, the consciousness of a child.
Yeah.
Because how we see this world dictates what we see.
So we start with the narrator, Scout, and her brother, Jem. But we have to look at them not just as kids playing in the street.
Right, they are spiritual beings reacting to a corrupted world.
Yeah, the source actually defines Scout as an ontological instrument.
Which is a heavy term.
It is. It basically means she hasn't yet descended into adult forgetting.
Or agreed to the societal lies.
Exactly. Her confusion when she looks at the town, it isn't ignorance. It's actually the proper moral response of a completely uncorrupted mind.
If you aren't confused by Macomb, you're broken.
That's a great way to put it. But then we have Jem, who represents what the source calls the arc of the fall.
Because he's older.
Right. He begins with Scout's level of pure perception, but he crosses the threshold into adult knowing. And in this world, adult knowing means adult wounding.
Which brings us to the very first sentence of the book.
Jem's broken arm.
Yeah.
It isn't just a plot point. The source calls it an initiatory rupture. His bones never set quite right, symbolizing this permanent cost of entering the real world.
It bends you permanently.
It really does. But, I want to push back on this just a little bit.
Sure, go for it.
We usually think of kids as empty vessels, right? Like waiting to be filled with adult wisdom.
That's the standard view, yeah.
But the source argues Scout is actually losing wisdom as she grows up. If Scout is our perfect lens, what does it say about us, like the adults, that we've essentially filtered out this reality?
Well, it says that in ancient wisdom traditions, children carry something pre-social.
Pre-social, meaning before society gets to them.
Exactly. Scout's simple witnessing of the town's madness is the actual moral act of the novel.
Because she just records it. She doesn't excuse it.
Right. And Jem's physical break reflects a spiritual break. He tried to understand the adult world, and it literally broke him.
Man, that's heavy. So if growing up means accepting the adult world's lies, what happens when a truly good adult tries to fight those lies in the public square?
That leads us directly to Atticus.
Yes, their father, Atticus, in the trial. The source points out that Atticus is a total paradox.
He really is. He's a good man who ultimately doesn't save anyone.
He defends Tom Robinson brilliantly, but Tom is convicted and dies anyway.
And this is crucial. The paper argues that the trial isn't a failure of the justice system. The system is working exactly as designed.
Here's where it gets really interesting, because we treat the justice system like a malfunctioning calculator, right? Like it accidentally gave the wrong answer.
Just a glitch in the machine?
Yeah, a glitch. But the source is saying the calculator was specifically programmed to output guilty.
The verdict is the product of the law. It's making the community's delusion official.
Exactly. And Atticus knows the math is rigged, but he does the equation anyway.
Because Atticus isn't teaching his kids how to win.
Right.
He's teaching them how to remain human in defeat.
Yeah.
Goodness doesn't produce justice in Macomb. It produces witness.
Witness. Just standing there and saying, I see what's happening.
Yes. And we see that in the deeply liturgical moment when the marginalized Black community stands up in the balcony as Atticus passes.
Oh, that scene always gives me chills.
Me too. They are honoring the truth even though the truth couldn't change the outcome. This is the novel's most unflinching insight.
The truth and outcome are not the same thing.
Right. And it quietly asks you, the listener, a really tough question. Is remaining human in the face of defeat enough? What do you think?
It's agonizing because, well, Atticus's defense fails because the system demands a specific result, and someone has to pay the price for that result.
Which moves us from the trial to the victim, Tom Robinson.
Right. Now, Tom Robinson speaks very little in his own voice in the book, and Harper Lee actually admitted she thought this was a literary problem.
She called it a flaw in her writing.
Yeah. But the source argues it's not a flaw at all. It's actually the exact shape of the novel's truth.
Because Tom cannot be saved.
Exactly. He can't be saved because the system meant to save him literally invented his guilt.
So his death is not some dramatic tragedy or an accident.
No. The source calls it an ancient sacrifice. His blood reveals the true, violent nature of the community.
And this ties right back to the title, Atticus's definition of the Mockingbird.
Right. A creature that does no harm, it only sings.
To kill it is structural evil. It's an organized agreement by the town to call innocents guilty.
So Tom's death is the entire moral architecture of the book.
Yes, absolutely.
But wait, so Tom isn't just a character, he's a mirror. But if Tom's public destruction is totally inevitable in this society, is there anywhere in Macomb where innocence can actually survive?
That is the pivot. What's fascinating here is how Tom's complete silence in the public sphere contrasts with the completely silent, invisible actions of Boo Radley in the private sphere.
Boo Radley. The guy that kids think is a monster.
Right, but the source calls him the hidden sacred. He's withdrawn not out of cowardice, but because of an excess of sensitivity.
Like the world is just too loud and cruel for him.
Exactly. The world cannot metabolize his realness, so he operates entirely outside the economy of reciprocity.
Meaning he doesn't do the whole transactional thing, I do this for you, you do this for me.
Exactly. He loves without needing recognition. He leaves them gifts, he mends Jem's torn pants, he covers Scout with a blanket during the fire.
And he leaves those intimate gifts in the hollow tree, which, the source points out, is a cross-cultural mythological threshold space.
The mouth of the in-between.
Right. And the gifts, a pocket watch, those carved soap figures, gum, a spelling medal, they show he truly sees the kids.
He's witnessing them, just like Scout is witnessing the town.
Yes. It's like Boo Radley is broadcasting on a radio frequency that only Scout and Jem can hear. Those soap figures, they aren't just trinkets, they are proof of life.
And then Nathan Radley fills the tree with cement.
Which is chilling. The source calls it an act of ontological violence dressed as property management.
Because he's severing the hidden world's connection to the visible one.
When Nathan pours cement into that tree, he's not doing yard work, he's cutting the microphone wire.
That's a perfect analogy. And Jem cries because his body just instinctively understands this violence. Boo is the novel's most advanced spiritual figure. His pure functional care asks nothing in return. Exposing him to the social world would diminish him.
So we have the brutal, visible world of the adults and the sacred, hidden world of Boo. What happens when these two realms inevitably collide?
Violently collide.
Right. That brings us to the Halloween attack.
The night of the attack is when latent mythology erupts into the ordinary plot.
It's Halloween, so it's a transitional night,
Mm-hmm.
and Scout is dressed as a giant ham.
Which is usually played for laughs.
Yeah, but think about it. She's moving blind, her arms are pinned, she's relying entirely on sound. The source says this is the classic hero moving through darkness in an initiatory structure.
And Bob Ewell represents the unreasoning force of attack.
The monster in the dark.
Right, and then Boo Radley emerges from the dark without being called, and he saves the children.
Bob Ewell dies by his own knife
Yeah.
at Boo's hands.
Which brings us to the climax of the novel's morality. Sheriff Tate and Atticus agree to lie and say Ewell fell on his knife.
So what does this all mean? I mean, wait, Atticus risks everything to tell the truth in the courtroom for Tom Robinson, but here he actively covers up a homicide.
It seems wild, right?
It feels like a massive contradiction. How does the man of absolute integrity justify a police cover-up?
Well, the source unpacks this profound realization. Some forms of truth-telling actually destroy what they claim to honor.
Oh,
I see.
yeah. Bringing Boo into a spotlight, even just to give him a medal and call him a hero, it would be just as destructive to his spirit as the courtroom was to Tom Robinson.
Because Boo's goodness can only survive in the dark, so the lie is a protective shield for the sacred.
Exactly.
Wow. Bringing it all together around the title, then. To Kill a Mockingbird is both a prohibition like, do not do this, and a statement of fact. There is something in the world that literally cannot be killed.
The Mockingbird song is continuous. It isn't triumphant, but it's continuous.
It sings through the verdict, through the death, through the grief. Goodness might not win, justice might not prevail, but the capacity for witness, for invisible care, it persists.
And as Scout falls asleep at the end, she realizes the thing she feared. Boo is just a soul wanting to be left in peace to love from a distance.
The most radical love is sometimes the most invisible.
I love that. Well, that wraps up today's deep dive. Hopefully you feel equipped to look at everything, not just literature, but the structures around you with this new ontological lens.
It really changes how you see things. And I want to leave you with a final lingering question to think about based on this text. If the deepest goodness in our world asks for no recognition and thrives only in the shadows like Boo Radley, who are the hidden mockingbirds in your own life?
Oh, that's a great question.
And more importantly, are you inadvertently demanding they step into the harsh light just so you can thank them?